order 2.1 recommendation. Danny, do you want to read that out?
That council adopts the agenda.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? 3, adoption of minutes of 3.1 recommendation. Marlene, do you want to read that out?
That council adopt the minutes from the regular council meeting held on April 20th, 2022.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? 3.1 recommendation. Barb, do you want to read that out?
The council adopt the minutes of the special council meeting held on April 25th, 2022.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Introduction of late items is 8.5, grant application,
8.3.
or 8.3, sorry. Grant application. Public hearing none. 6, delegation 6.1 recommendation. Marcel?
The council hear the auditor report from Sanders, Rose, and Bone, and Grinnell. Grindle, sorry. And that council approved the 2021 draft financial statement.
Can I get a seconder?
Jared, you're up. Do you want the podium? Or you're actually we'll move it over there, just so the camera.
Thanks for having me here, guys. My name is Jared Neufeld, and I'm a partner at Sander, Rose, Bone, Grindle, and I'm in charge of your guys' audit. So I believe you guys have a draft set of the financial statements in front of you. If you turn to page 2, you'll see our independent auditors report. It's addressed to Mayor and Council of the Corporation of the Village of Hooscoopi. It states that we've audited the financial statements of the Corporation of the Village of Hooscoopi, which comprises the statement of financial position as at December 31st, 2021, and the statement of operations and accumulated surplus, changes in net financial assets and cash flows for the year then ended, and notes the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the company financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the municipality as at December 31st, 2021, and the results of its operations and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with public sector accounting standards, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. As the auditor, our objective is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. As part of an audit performed in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of the material misstatement of the financial statements. We obtain an understanding of the internal controls relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures. We evaluate the appropriateness of the accounting policies used and reasonableness in accounting estimates and related disclosures as made by management. We conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern, and we evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements. Finally, we communicate with those charged with governance, you guys, regarding, among other matters, the plan, scope, and timing of the audit, and any significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal controls that we identified during the audit. So, long story short, another clean audit this year. So, any questions?
Danny, you had questions? Can you remember some of this stuff, Karen? Like there was $12,000 into
Yes.
tangible assets. Do you remember what that was?
That was
on page 29.
Gain on sale. You guys said, I don't remember which capital asset you guys sold. There was $12,000 gain, and so that flows through your capital assets.
I wonder what it was. I had it in the garbage truck. We got $12,000 for that piece of junk?
We did? Holy.
I don't know. I'm going to check on that because it was sold while I was away last year.
Anybody else?
Aww.
Okay.
On page 14 for your guys' audit here, subtotal less requisitions paid out to other tax authorities. That's a deficit of 494, so we're owing.
No, so what happens is you guys collect on behalf of, say, like regional district, hospital district, the province of BC, and so that gets paid out. So that is what shows on your financial statements is the net amount that you guys retain for your guys' operations. So,
Oh, okay.
so you show the gross above less what you would have paid out to give you your net municipal property taxes, which is what you guys have available to spend. So.
Oh, good.
Anything else?
So if I'm reading this correctly, does it say we're did a little bit more than 17,000 of surplus this last year?
Which page?
Page 27, or page 5.
Page 5.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the totals for 2021.
Yeah.
And the accumulated surplus for end of year. So I was wondering if that 17,815.
17 million.
Million.
Or 17 million? Okay,
We
sorry.
were 828 in the deficit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those
That's
two
right.
numbers there are the 828.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so your annual deficit this year was the 828. Your accumulated surplus, which is basically just the surplus that the village has accumulated over the course of its entire lifetime of being in existence. And that's not necessarily just cash, that's all assets, that's various liabilities. It comes up to 1720 million. So.
Anything else? No, yeah. See?
Just accept it as it is, but on page 6. The budget of the annual surplus says the purchase of tangible assets is 2,034,350, and then it goes down to 2 million. That is on that line. Do you see on page 6?
Line 1.
Yeah, and then the decrease in net financial assets. What does that mean?
So what this schedule is, and I'll actually refer you back to page 4, which is your statement of financial position. And so you'll see in kind of the middle there, there's your net financial assets. What this schedule is it basically is showing the different changes that go into calculating that net financial amount. And so it's the reconciliation of the 5.8 million. There's two different sides of it. There's net financial assets, and then if you are in a negative, it's a net financial deficit. Kind of the theory behind it is, as a municipality, if you have net financial assets, it means that you have taxed essentially for future purchases. So you have more assets than necessarily the debt that the municipality has to spend those future tax dollars on different upgrades, things like that. If you're in a deficit, it means that you've undertaxed the current population for the services that they are receiving. So in this case here, you guys have a bit of a surplus built up, with the idea being that it would be available for future, I don't want to say growth because that's not necessarily a municipality's main focus, but you know, if you guys want to put in your roadways or anything like that, you have that available without necessarily having to adjust tax rates.
Okay, thank you. We did that already. Anybody else? Well, I make a motion that we accept it as is. Can I get a second? Marlene, all in favor? Thanks, Jen.
Perfect. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And
You betcha.
thanks to Sandy and Trina in particular. I really appreciate all your help this year, so.
She'll be signing her life away tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Jared.
And council, I'd like to take this opportunity to thanking you, Trina, for your hard work on the budget, this year's budget, and for helping me prepare this. Thank you very much. Okay. Unfinished business arising from the minutes, 7.1 recommendation. And who is that? Danny.
Council approves the letter to the Ministry of Transportation and Highways.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion?
I read it earlier, so I kind of know just what I'm looking for. Could we put in here that it was like what the extreme weather was? Why not?
Because you said it was minus 50 and it wasn't.
But it was
I
like
went
minus
back.
40.
It was minus 20. I went and checked.
Is that with or without the wind chill?
I went and checked.
Yeah, was that with or without the wind
And
chill?
I didn't feel right making it sound snarky.
No, okay.
That's why I said that it's not so cold.
I
And
just,
in nicer weather.
I'm just worried they may be like, what, when it's June and plus 20, you know, like.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's totally what we're asking for. I just know it's gonna take some of their time and.
Well, last
Very
time they did ours was
diplomatic.
in March, they ran it across, and that wasn't even, there was what, 736 vehicles went across?
More that time than the last time.
Yeah.
Okay, if you looked and it wasn't as extreme as.
Yeah, I went to see because I figured, well, if it was minus 40 or minus 50, then I'm going to put in there that it's minus 40 or minus 50.
Okay.
But it
Or morning, sorry.
Are you expecting a huge difference on a different day?
I want a week of them to come up here and give us the tally like they did before,
Oh,
not just
a
one
week.
day. They gave us just a 1 day,
Oh,
and last time they came up on a whole week.
well, this is asking for a day.
One of the coldest days.
Okay, I'll change that to over a period.
Yeah, over a period of a week.
Okay.
Sorry, then.
Is it approved with those changes?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to bring it back on the 18th?
No, we can approve those changes.
I'm going to make a motion.
I'll motion that, and can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay. New business, 8.1, Maureen.
That council approves the application of the UBCM Grant 2022 EOC funding stream, and if funded, agrees to provide grant management.
Have a second? Oh, I'm okay with that.
You guys have already actually approved this, but UBCM came back to us because they didn't like the wording in the resolution. They needed it more specific to that grant application. That's the reason I'm bringing it back. This is their wording that they would like approved for the grant application.
Okay, I'll make the motion that you take whatever they say
That's this.
and put it in there.
You just have to vote on this now. You already read it. Okay.
We have a motion on the floor.
The council approves the application of UBCM grant 2022 EOC funding. That's the one you're voting.
Can I get a seconder?
You did it already.
All in favor? Okay, point 2, recommendation that council read the proclamation proclaiming May 12th Moose Hide Campaign Day. Danny? Do you want to stand up and?
Was it me that did the proclamation?
Yes.
I know we and Barbara both.
We have the,
No, I didn't do one. This is it. This is how they I'm not get a fancy big long paper scroll. Can we take a picture of her so I can send it to Rob? Only my best side. All right, so title Moose Campaign Day 2022. Whereas the Moose Hide Campaign is an Indigenous-led grassroots movement of the men, boys, and all Canadians standing up to end violence against women and children. And whereas the Moose Hide Campaign was founded along the Highway of Tears in British Columbia in response to the injustice and violence faced by many women and children in Canada, particularly those who are Indigenous. Whereas it is estimated that half of all women in Canada have experienced at least one incident of violence since the age of 16, and this reality is worse for Indigenous women. Whereas the Moose Hide Campaign has distributed nearly 3 million moose hide pins that each spark 5 conversations about issues of violence against women and children. Whereas wearing the moose hide pin demonstrates a commitment to honor, respect, and protect the women and children in your life, end gender-based violence, and take meaningful action towards the reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. It is therefore recommended that the Village of Pouce Coupe proclaim May 12, 2022 as Moose Hide Campaign Day. Thank you.
And just for the record, I did order more pins, but they have not arrived.
Okay. Well, hopefully they will. Yeah.
8.3 recommendations.
Right. Council would like to request a resolution from council for the asset management grant application.
Can I get a seconder?
Second.
Discussion? Sandy?
So this is the same idea. This is to apply for the asset management grant through UBCM. And the grant writer asked us for some specific wording. So Urban Systems helped us, and this is what they came up with.
And this is on our action items as
Yes,
well,
it is.
right?
It's part of our capital special projects.
All in favor? Anybody see anything in correspondence?
So just to, so with the moose wandering around, we are going to be reaching out to bylaw and all that jazz.
Bylaws on it.
Well, no. I mean, we have conservation, thank you. And he's gonna,
A bylaw officer.
our bylaw officer is, yeah,
It's working on it.
yes, I know. Other than leading him out of the village with the carrots, we'll just come right back in.
Well, technically, it's not.
Well, actually, he was right on that lot, eating all those trees, and I
Yes.
spun around and I saw him, and I rolled down the window and Ben stuck his head out and he just, Ben never said a word to him, he was going over to Marcel's.
I just sit in my yard, I got 10 feet tall.
Is there any concern that he does have ticks very bad? That's my concern too. Is there any prevention we could put out to the residents maybe to keep a lookout for?
Well, she did put a thing on the village website, not to bring him into your yard, so befriend him.
Don't encourage him. Don't feed him,
Cause they
Don't
hop
invite him
and
to lay down.
they hop and.
Go away.
That's all we need, is a village all infested with.
infested with ticks, that's what I'm a bit worried about, yes.
But I'd be more worried about the moose attacking some kid that's trying to
Well,
get
that
rid of
too.
the,
That
take
too.
ticks over a kid that gets trampled, I'll take the ticks.
Well, no, he seems,
Very friendly.
very friendly. Unbelievably so, yes.
But he's used to everybody, right? So.
He seems very used to people, yes, which is a bit concerning for sure.
Go that way.
7:30, right?
Seven. Okay.
How are you?
Excellent yourself.
So there's nothing, nobody sees anything? Bylaw 11.1 recommendation.
Marcel.
That council will give fourth reading and adopt financial plan 2022 to 2026, bylaw number 1037, 2022.
Can I get a seconder? All in favor? 11.2 recommendation? Dan,
That council give fourth reading and adopt tax rates 2022, bylaw number 1038.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Administration reports.
I attached mine. But I do have an update for you.
Do you?
I do. Oh, actually, I have some questions I need answered too. In my report, I asked what day council would like to have the open house for the fire department.
I'd like to suggest the last Wednesday in May at the community center.
Okay, and if that's unavailable, do you have an alternate date? Because we'll have to check and see if the community center is being used.
Sometime that week.
And check with the fire department.
Do you have a question? How are you going to advertise this?
Through the Village Voice and Facebook and our website.
Are the fire department okay with this meeting?
Could I make a suggestion that we do a notice in the mailbox for people that are not on social media?
Is everybody okay with that?
I won't be attending.
I won't be attending either.
We voted it down. I voted it down. I don't think that without Leonard being there, I just don't think it should be held.
Couple things. The spring cleanup through the PRD, the information you guys all asked for, has been put into the Village Voice.
And they're in the
did a bunch
mailboxes.
of, pardon?
And they are in the mailboxes.
I mean, they will be when the Village Voice goes in their mailbox.
No, the coupons are in the village's mailbox.
Oh.
I got mine.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
well, you asked for that, so this is what we put in the Village Voice.
Thank you.
Just an update on North Winds, they are holding a public open house on May 16th from 4 to 7 at the community center. And on May 10th, they're gonna put out a virtual presentation to allow the public to ask specific questions so that they have them to go when they go to the
So
open
where are they
house.
putting this virtual?
They're gonna send us some link, I guess.
And we put it on our website.
May 16th, do you know what day that is and what time?
It's a Monday,
It's a Monday, and
from
what
4
time?
to 7.
4 to 7?
You'll send us a time thing. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Maureen?
You have on here the Sekunka movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, at a council meeting, is it 75 minutes of it will be this movie?
Yeah, and we're paying staff to sit here and watch it. I think he should just give each one of you a copy of it, and you take it home and you watch it.
I don't think it's ready for that.
No, is there a different night that he can present?
Would you like a special meeting to watch it?
That would be nice.
I would like to see what we have purchased as a tourism video, which that's how this started out as. I would like to see it before it's presented to the public at July 1st. That's all.
So you want a copy, or you want staff to sit here and be paid to watch it? With you.
Whatever.
Should we watch it together so that we can discuss it instead of individual people?
We can watch it and then discuss it back in the council chambers. Where staff are being paid to watch and work with it.
So what would he be willing to do? Would he be
I
willing
don't
to
know.
make
I
all
have
these
to-
copies?
I have to ask. Could he virtually stream it over Zoom to all of us? right? So do a screen share over Zoom, at least then we don't have to have everybody here and it's not, and it's on his system. I figured that would be much easier. I know, as long as you guys can still access Zoom on your iPads, right?
I can't access, but I can only do it on my tablet,
Okay,
then that's fine.
that's fine. I think that would probably be easiest in all honesty.
I'll ask him if he can.
And that would be the whole movie?
Yeah, so you just screen
Well,
share.
he has it done. It's been shitty weather,
Well,
so.
it says here, whole movie.
He's told me that the movie's 7, he just hasn't finished all the edits, that's all.
No.
Whatever sounds finished.
Okay, so I will ask him that. And as I pointed out, the alley renaming signs are actually ready, they picked them up. So we'll just work on a day that works with the family to go and we'll erect one between,
Where, the,
no, the signs for Secret,
yeah,
Farmer Lane.
uh-huh.
We'll do some sort of little just, erecting of the sign between, Sleep In Poos and, where the quilt place is, that alley there.
Mhm.
Cause there's 4 signs to be put up, you don't wanna be at each one, do you?
Well, all depends on what the family wants, is what.
And I think, when I talked to, Mr. Palmer, he basically indicated he just wanted a little ceremony when it went up, that's all.
Was it
Good
VJ
chance.
or,
It was Vinny.
Marlene?
So, after we rename this as a lane, are we going to ensure that it's treated as a road?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it goes on to a map at the regional district. The problem was, is that
Yeah,
back there, you
I know
couldn't
what
get
the problem
ambulances
was.
to.
I was just wondering if we were gonna treat it as a
And that
road
way-
and ensure that it's,
That way
Maintained.
emergency personnel will be able to find it,
yeah.
because it'll be on the GIS mapping system.
My understanding is when we talked about turning it into a lane, that was one of the questions we asked, is this is already maintained by the village, and it is already maintained by us, so it would be, now we're just naming it, but it's already, they've already been clearing it and everything and sanding it and.
Oh, I understand that part of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was going to be just maintained as a road.
That's it for me.
Okay. I have a question. Received notification from South Peace SAR that they will be, what will they be doing?
Councilor Waddell, would you like to finish that?
I'm done right now.
Southeast Search and Rescue, basically after Canada Day, will be moving their assets from Coos-Coopy to a location 5 kilometers on the other side of Dawson Creek.
Okay.
Because we managed to get a building that's about half the size of the fire hall.
Oh,
To
wow.
store our equipment in, so. But we are associated, the association's actually moving its official mailing address to Coos-Coopy, so our association will be based out of Coos-Coopy, but our assets will be on the other side of Dawson Creek.
Yeah, okay.
Just the wording of our executive within Bruce.
Marlene?
Since bringing up search and rescue, it's been brought to my attention by a concerned citizen that the approval from council was to park one vehicle over there and there's more than one. And that they're plugged in. And the fencing that was put around it was to be used, was supposed to be, Public Works was going to put up some used fencing that they had laying around in the yard.
So with the yard over there, everything that was put in, installed for electrical, Southeast Search and Rescue paid for out of their own pocket. Paid for it, we obtained permission from the CAO in the village before doing it. The compound that's over there, the village donated some used fencing that was left over from the old dog runs. Southeast Search and Rescue purchased all the posts and installed it, as well as gravelled it. And when we vacated at the end of June, beginning of July, that is reverting back over to the Coos-Coopy Fire Department in order to have a gravel compound for their use. Yep. So yeah, everything that was done with permission of the village and ran to the CAO with copies of our insurances and liability and everything else.
And Sandy, can you look up to see when we voted on that, if it was just one vehicle or it was all their equipment?
That was just one.
Well, it was to my understanding, it was our equipment that we asked to go over there.
And you paid for the electrical to plug them
Yeah,
in?
we paid to put everything up over there, we paid for the fencing, we paid for the gravel.
I think
So-
that was actually in the motion too.
Yeah, we covered our expenses. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it took our volunteers 2 days and cost us over $2,000 to put that all together.
And I have it all in camera. Action item. Anybody see anything?
So I guess the Concord movie could be maybe,
Not yet.
maybe, dependent. We can do that over Zoom. One less thing, okay.
Ryan,
Telus and Shaw, what was that again?
connectivity.
The mayor asked me to reach out, see if I could reach someone to talk to you guys, but I have not been able to reach anybody because we can't find contacts. Nobody is answering anything. So, keep trying, still working from home.
Capital special projects.
Candidate committee, did you talk to? No? No, okay. Yeah, never mind, question answered.
I think we have a person that will do it.
Yeah, but until we talk to the person.
Jeremy, yeah. Anything else? Capital special projects. Did you call, the RD over the steamer, or over the?
Yeah, it was in the city.
The steamer? No.
Yeah, for the other truck.
Over the truck? Yes. They are still, trying to figure out what they're going to do with their excess surplus apparatuses, is the answer I got.
Do we need any apparatuses for the fire hall? Can you check that with Blair?
I don't know what they're getting rid of yet.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll send you a list, won't they?
Hope so.
Stuff the fire hall needs, can I get a seconder on that?
Second that.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'll second that.
You okay with buying new stuff, or if they have cheap stuff for the fire hall, you're?
What?
I'm asking for her to check to see what the stuff is for the fire hall that is available, and if we need it, then we should purchase it. If not, right?
That's pretty blank.
It's a
We don't
blanket.
consider it when we get the list.
This, yes. That's,
Okay.
but I need a motion for her to call PRD for it. Myself, did you do the second?
Yeah, I seconded it.
All in favor? Counselors' calendars. Anybody see anything?
Must be the bearer of bad news, but didn't we have another council meeting planned for us the 9th?
No.
No.
This is
That was tentative, if
I take it back.
we needed it. We don't need it.
Well, look at us kicking butt and taking names. Okay, perfect.
There's nothing?
Okay.
Counselor Smith,
Nothing to report,
nothing at the regional district?
not impacting the village, it's been basically budget.
Is there anything that the village has to pay in the budget? Is there anything that we are opt-in to going into?
Just what we are aware of.
And what are those?
That is the, agreement to, Peace River Regional District from, Priscoopi and parts of Area D to help the city of Dawson Creek.
And what is that function?
Excuse me?
What is that function called?
We're sharing in, the expenses that will go to the city of Dawson Creek for the, arena, the,
SLP. But we're not going into anything else? The airport?
no, everything is just discussion now.
Councillor Hebert.
Yes, I do have something. I didn't attend any meetings, but I do have to apologize immensely. Due to time constraints, I have to back out of doing the float. I just don't have the time to do it.
Are you gonna ride on it?
I'm gonna ride on it. If there's a float. I don't know, I guess when the time comes.
Councillor Beach.
What did I do this week? Nothing really to report. I did talk to Courtney at the library about some more Canada Day stuff. I'm going to the NCLGA conference thing this week, for Wednesday, Thursday, so going to that. And, yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. Mr. Woodall.
Nothing to report about the conference, this week. The other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to put a motion forward that we postpone the public consultation about fire departments, and the PRD have been, had a chance to, be consulted on it.
I'll second that. Any more discussion on it? All in favor? Vote it down there, Marcel. You know it.
It's worth a shot.
In camera none, oh, I have none.
You have to call opposed and in favor.
I'm opposed.
You need to call in favor.
I'm opposed for the meeting. Okay, so you want me to call the vote?
Motion to postpone.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed?
Thank you.
In camera none, rise and report none, and adjournment.
Can sorry, I just have a question for your worship. A couple of meetings ago, you had a Zoom call with the RCMP.
No, actually, I phoned Sandy and told her I couldn't make it,
Okay,
and she took the minutes.
okay, I just have some concerns of asking because it said, municipalities under 5,000, population of 5,000, it may impact us, and I was just wondering if the discussion, what it was.
Sandy?
That meeting's not till May 10th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know you're talking about the UBCM meeting.
May 10th.
That's May 10th.
Oh,
That's
we
the
haven't
one I
had it
just,
yet.
that's the one I said he had to be
Yeah.
on.
okay,
The
thank you.
one Marcel, you missed, is the one she was talking about. You know, the one that you said, sorry, you had to work?
Oh, yeah.
Your worship, do you have a report?
No, I don't. It's tax time. It's not anymore, thank God. Motion to adjourn.
Matt, is there anything you have to say?